The boardroom fell silent as Marcus Chen stood at the head of the table, his hands trembling slightly as he held a crumpled folder containing what he believed could save Tech Vision Industries from complete collapse. The company had 60 days before bankruptcy, 300 families would lose their livelihoods, and the CEO, Richard Hartwell, sat with his arms crossed, barely concealing his contempt for the maintenance worker who had dared to request this emergency meeting. Marcus was a single father of 2 young daughters, working double shifts to keep food on the table after his wife Sarah had passed away from cancer 3 years earlier. He mopped floors at night and fixed broken equipment during the day, invisible to most of the executives, who rushed past him in their expensive suits. But Marcus noticed things. He saw the patterns others missed, the inefficiencies that bled money, the opportunities hidden in plain sight. For months, he had been developing a proposal, working on it during his daughter's bedtime, surviving on coffee and determination, driven by the memory of Sarah telling him to never stop believing in himself. When Marcus began explaining his idea, a revolutionary software integration system that could salvage the company's failing infrastructure by repurposing existing resources, Richard cut him off mid-sentence. The CEO's laughter was sharp and dismissive, echoing off the glass walls like shards of broken dreams. Richard told Marcus to go back to his mop bucket, to leave business decisions to people with actual degrees and experience, to stop wasting everyone's time with fantasies. The other executives shifted uncomfortably in their chairs, but no one spoke up. Marcus felt his face burn with humiliation as he gathered his papers, his vision blurring with tears he refused to let fall in front of these people, who saw him as nothing more than the help. If this story resonates with you, if you believe that every person deserves to be heard, regardless of their title or position, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment sharing your thoughts, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us continue sharing stories that remind us of our shared humanity and the power of second chances. That night, Marcus sat in his small kitchen after putting his daughters to bed, staring at the rejection that felt like it was crushing his chest. He thought about giving up, about accepting his place in the world, but then he looked at the photo of Sarah on the refrigerator, at her encouraging smile, and he remembered what she always said. The right thing to do is rarely the easy thing to do. Marcus made a decision that would change everything. He took his idea directly to the media, to a technology journalist who had once interviewed him for a human interest piece about single parents in the workforce. The article went viral within 48 hours. Industry experts began analyzing Marcus's proposal, and their unanimous conclusion shook the business world. The maintenance worker's idea was not just viable, it was brilliant. It was exactly what Tech Vision needed, an innovative solution that would cost a fraction of the alternatives the board had been considering. Venture capitalists started calling. Competitors offered Marcus positions with 6-figure salaries. Suddenly, the man Richard Hartwell had humiliated was being hailed as a visionary, and Tech Vision Industries was facing a public relations nightmare alongside its financial crisis. With the company's stock plummeting further and board members demanding answers, Richard had no choice but to do what he should have done from the beginning. He called Marcus back into that same boardroom. This time, the CEO's tone was different, stripped of arrogance and filled with the desperation of a man watching his empire crumble. Richard offered Marcus everything: an executive position, a substantial salary, equity in the company. But he needed Marcus's idea to save them. Marcus looked around the room at the faces of people who had remained silent during his humiliation, and he thought about his daughters, about the lessons they were learning from watching their father navigate a world that often seemed designed to keep people like them in their place. Marcus agreed, but on his own terms. He would implement his system, but 20% of the company's recovery profits would go into a fund for employee education and advancement, creating pathways for others like him to rise based on merit rather than credentials. Richard accepted, having no other options left, and Marcus's integration system was deployed immediately. Within 3 months, Tech Vision Industries was not just saved but thriving, operating more efficiently than ever before, and Marcus Chen became the Chief Innovation Officer, transforming the company's culture from the inside out. If this story moved you, or reminded you that brilliance can come from the most unexpected places, please share this video with someone who needs encouragement today. Drop a comment below telling us about a time when someone underestimated you, or when you witnessed someone rise above impossible odds. The lesson Marcus taught everyone at Tech Vision was simple but profound. Every person has value, every voice deserves to be heard, and sometimes the solution to our biggest problems comes from the people we've been trained to overlook. Richard Hartwell learned that leadership isn't about having all the answers. It's about having the wisdom to listen when answers come from unexpected sources. And Marcus's daughters learned that their father, the man who came home exhausted every night smelling of cleaning solution, was always a hero. The world just needed time to catch up to what they already knew. Sometimes the greatest innovations come not from ivory towers, but from the humility of those who see clearly, because they've had to fight for every inch of ground they've gained.